this video, I'm going to show you how to make a map in Flourish using a shapefile of the district of North Vancouver. So Melody Davis at Landcore Data Corporation helpfully sent along a shapefile. I've already downloaded it here. You can see here the regional neighborhood shapefile. It's in a zip format. So if you remember, the first thing I have to do with a shapefile is convert it using mapshaper.org. So I need to do two things here. First, make sure it's in the correct WGS84 coordinates. There's a Flourish article here that outlines how to do that. And then convert it to GeoJSON so I can upload it to Flourish. So sometimes it's possible just to grab the entire shapefile like this and import it into MapShaper. As you can see, I'm getting an error here. So I'm going to go to my download folder and open this up first. Then I'll go back to MapShaper, and this time when I select, I've got my open files here, I'm going to select all of the elements in this file except for the disclaimer. Open those. I always click detect line intersections and snap vertices and then import. So step one, again, make sure it's in the right coordinates. I go to console here at the top and then dash PROJ for projection, space WGS84, hit enter. I don't get any error message, that's good. I can see the map shifted slightly, that's good. And now I can, step two, export into GeoJSON format. So I'll export there. So from here, I can go into Flourish. Go to my projection map blank template. Under the data page, I need to import the GeoJSON file in two tabs here. First of all, regions, well, I don't think there's an order, but regions, geometry, and regions. So I'll start with regions geometry, but I could start with regions. Upload data. There's my JSON file from MapShaper. Open, import, continue. Where I see the shapes here, the actual shapes, that's a good sign. That means I've got everything, the file has been imported correctly in the right coordinates. I have to do the same thing in the other tab. Upload data, grab the same JSON file, open, import, continue. Now I need to find a matching column here. So that's the ID, a unique ID for joining the boundary data in the regions tab and in the regions geometry tab. So I will go with object ID B and then go over here, IDs to match, again column B. And then the geometry under regions geometry, that's going to be always column, the first column, or almost always the first column, the actual shapes that I see. So if I say A, and then let's just make sure this is projecting correctly on my map. I go to preview. Often you won't see anything at all. Don't worry. I just need to go from world to auto. And there you go. I have my map here of neighborhoods in North Vancouver. So going back to the data page, this regions geometry tab, you can see there's just two options here, the geometry or the boundaries, the polygon, the shape, and the ID matching column that's matching it to the regions. In this tab, regions, this where I can choose columns to show, okay, what are the names of each of these? So column D, I'm going to choose for names. And now if I go back to my, you can see the names are showing up here in the pop-ups. This is also where I can layer information, data about each of these, each of these shapes, each of those neighborhood boundary shapes. So for example, here on the District of North Vancouver website, I found this CSV file of census information. So I'm going to download this. Again, it's a shapefile, so let's just open it up first. And then in a Google Sheet, I can start a new spreadsheet. I'm going to import that CSV sheet within the zip file that I downloaded. This is just taking a minute here. Yeah, I'll replace spreadsheet, import data. So I can see here that I've got information for each of the neighborhoods. So because these neighborhood names match the neighborhood names within my shapefile, that means I can easily overlay data. I'm going to open a new tab here. I'm not great at pivot tables, so I'm just going to sort of copy paste here as an example. So let's say I want to show the population over 65 for each of the neighborhood areas on this map here. I'm just going to copy the headers and then I'm going to copy the row that shows population of each neighborhood 65 and over. And then you'll see here that each of my neighborhoods is in a separate column. Each has its own separate column header. I want to have one column header showing all the neighborhoods and their population over 65. So I'll just copy this. So I just select it all, copied. I'm going to open yet another tab. And then under paste special, I can paste transposed. And now that's just sort of flipped the axes there. So I've got my all of my neighborhoods in a single column and all of my values, the population over 65, in another column. I'm gonna get rid of these rows here. I'm gonna call this name for neighborhood name. I'm gonna call this population over 65. I'll download this sheet as a CSV file. I'll go back to my map and under the regions tab, because again, I have just two columns to work with under regions geometry. This tab is really just about showing the shapes. So under the regions tab, if I click here and hit upload data and merge, and then click again there, I'll select that CSV sheet. And now this is where I can match my data to each of those neighborhoods. So I want to match neighborhood name in my existing sheet, Blue Ridge, boundary, etc., etc. With name in my new sheet, merge now. And then from here, if I just scroll along, I've got a new column here matched with each of those neighborhood shapes, showing population over 65. And then in this column, color by, I can actually show visually that information. So if I put Q here, you can see my map changes to show sort of a variant depending on the number of people over 65 in each neighborhood. So you could do this with any kind of data you want that would appear on a gradient like this. So that's it. A few things we've been over, but specifically with the new shapefile we've got showing the neighborhood divisions of the North Shore. Hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching.